Welcome to our Spotlight show. This is the first interview in English language, and we have the composer Arash. Hello, Arash.
Hello.
You are living in Estonia, right?
Yes, sir.
How did you end up here?
Like every other guy who ends up in Estonia, through love.
What a beautiful thing. Who do you love?
I love everyone. No, my wife, Helena Tuling, we met, I think, 12 years ago, 11 years ago. The first day of school in Stockholm, absolutely first day in the orientation
So the
day.
love from the first sight.
Exactly, love at first sight. We just sat beside each other and that was it. We've been ever since together.
Wonderful, wonderful. And now you're here and composer.
Yeah, indeed. I also do whatever else is needed in the music. You know,
Absolutely.
a jack of all trades. But firstly, composer.
And you're also a teacher, but we will get to that later. Yeah. We want to talk about Sound Plasma Festival, which is here already 4th time, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So tell us, what is Sound Plasma Festival?
So it really goes way back to when I discovered music of this absolutely magnificent Romanian composer, Horacio Radulescu. Because I was coming from Iran directly to Europe, and I never heard, we didn't have good internet connection, for instance, in Iran that time. So I wasn't able to listen to much of what's happening outside of what was available in our country. So the first thing that I kind of discovered was this very strange sound that I had never heard, and it was music of Horacio Radulescu. And I can say for sure it was one piece that for solo viola was performed by Vincent Royer, who was last year guest of our festival. And that completely blew my mind. So I started to just study and try to learn what is he doing, and one thing led to another. I had to study a lot of acoustics and psycho-acoustics and stuff, and it was difficult to find his scores because unfortunately he passed away exactly as soon as I arrived to Europe. So because of him, I ended up going to Switzerland, and I always just wanted, because nobody knew him at that time. He was a completely obscure composer. But I mean, like he was this larger-than-life figure. And his music is just, you cannot point the finger and say, okay, this is what he does. Just really, really strange if you're not familiar with that word. So I found out his estate, which was like his relatives who were like publishing his things. And it was very complicated at the time, but I managed to get some of his scores, and then at some point even had to go to look at what was left of his manuscripts and stuff. Anyway, so the idea was that eventually, because I was also conducting and studying conducting, I wanted to make some kind of ensemble or some specialized unit to perform his music, because he had crazy things and it was almost impossible to find out how to perform it. So we started that. I was in Basel. I was trying to make an ensemble, Sound Plasma. I was trying to talk with my colleagues, and we had incredible musicians.
And what are the instruments in that ensemble?
Never worked. That's what
really?
I'm saying. The ensemble never happened. It somehow, another of my colleagues took that ideas, and they made a seminar of Radulescu music. And then, I mean, all of these things started to recognize his music more and more, at least within the music community. But that ensemble never worked. But this idea was with me. I was trying to convince all the directors that this is what you should do. This is the music, all the festivals. But nobody knew. And
in Estonia, they did. No,
Estonia, I did, because nobody was doing, so I had to do it at the end.
I was hoping
myself.
you tell that, and all over the world, nobody took this idea. But in Estonia, in Tallinn, everybody.
Well, that is true, because that's exactly why I made the Ensemble for New Music Tallinn. I wanted to make a specialized unit that could be able to perform this kind of strange intonation. It was very, very complicated, and then at the same time very acrobatic, because because he has no regard of performance, just thinks of these crazy sounds.
But it's a very interesting thing that I have somehow understood that people who are playing new music and new sound, exactly like you described, they need also to sometimes to perform Brahms and Bach and Mozart. What do you think? Is it necessary, or you can just do just one thing, just sound plasma?
I have no formula for it.
Why not? Please tell us all the answers.
To be honest, I don't know. It depends. I can't say about composition that I absolutely don't believe in it. I don't believe you need to learn a classical education of music in
Like
order
Scerrino. Salvatore Scerrino always says very famously that I have never studied music and you shouldn't.
Yeah, I totally believe in it. I had, when I was studying in Basel also, I had a very good colleague of mine who came completely from mathematics, never ever studied, and was an excellent composer.
Really?
Yeah.
But how is the music if the guy is from the mathematic background? Is it, I somehow imagine, of course, that I will say stereotype thing right now, but if music is mathematically perfect, it might be boring. What do you say about that?
Might be, yeah, I agree with that.
But this guy's music is not boring.
No, but it's because mathematics is about systems. Mm-hmm. Numbers are basically systems. They're like a game. You know, you design a universe that functions itself. Mm-hmm. And many composers are fascinated with creating systems. Mm-hmm. And then I call them game designers because they don't necessarily think so much of the sounding result of their product, but they're fascinated with the process of composition. I understand that. It is enjoyable.
And you, as a composer, which side are you? Tell us about yourself.
When I was younger, I was also doing lots of not lots, but I was fascinated with the usual things, you know, even using some, random, such simple things like a Fibonacci series, for example. Composers do that. When I was a student, I was also fascinated. But then at some point, I just stopped caring, and I don't really care. I stopped caring about a lot of things.
Maybe that's the right thing to do. Stop caring. And
if I would teach, I would tell people that, I don't care about form, for instance, structure, just sounding.
Okay.
None of things, what I'm saying doesn't mean that these things don't exist, but there's a different logic that, anyway.
But you are a teacher, actually, since you mentioned that you're teaching.
Really, no, I teach very little.
But tell us, where are you teaching?
It's part of listen, I was, one of my favorite composers is Jonathan Harvey. Mm-hmm. Not as favorite as Radulescu, but I really like his music. So there is one scholarship on the name of Jonathan Harvey that I had applied once and I didn't get it. But so this is a scholarship that you can get they award it every 2 or 3 years to one person, and I got it this year. So part of the scholarship is that I will have to teach in the University of Huddersfield. But my title is researcher. I'm not a teacher. But I do teach a little bit of stuff, very little.
And how do you like teaching?
I hate it.
No student is watching.
No, I'm passionate about teaching. I always thought I am very good lecturer because for me it's like performance. And I could really engage and give so much energy, and I enjoy it. But this beginning of my teaching coincided with all the distance teaching stuff, and this is completely different. It's like I have to talk to my own face. I don't see any reaction.
Yes.
It's very strange.
Absolutely.
So it's not exactly what I was hoping for, but I think it's getting there.
It will be different later.
We will see.
Just a very childish question. Sound plasma, and let's say I'm a pianist, I have piano. Can I also participate in Sound Plasma Festival just with my acoustic piano? Can you, find me a place in Sound Plasma Festival for playing?
Well, probably not as a recital, but...
Why not?
Well, the reason is the person who makes this festival is not very keen on piano. And that is me. I always hated piano.
What lovely guest we
Yeah,
have.
because I was a pianist. Okay, well, in Iran I was rather okay pianist, but I didn't do anything else. Like I didn't even go out to party, or I was just practicing piano all the best years of my life. No, well,
But now you will have your best years
I,
here.
I wasn't happy with the intonation of piano, even much before I understood what intonation means. I just knew that that's how I started music. I was quite old. I was like 16 when I entered. But somehow, I guess I was talented or whatever.
Of course.
I could, first time that I listened to Mozart's like 40th symphony, I was, I think, 15. And it just blew my mind. Well, I was good to sight read the score. So I was trying to do that sounding. It was amazing, but it never worked. And the piano just sounded different. It was
the intonation
never,
of piano is very interesting
intonation.
because also they say about harpsichord that every town or every city had their own, tuning, and also there have been this kind of, let's say, free pianists who have tuned their piano, not like the classical way, but smaller, all those tones. And I also sometimes miss this having, this glissando, this real glissando. I know that, these electrical pianos, they have this pitch here. So it's very interesting to play with this. But yes, this acoustic piano can be...
Yeah, if you play it once, then you cannot go back to tempered intonation. But speaking of which, this year we had this quite a special project which Kadri and Sumara performed.
Absolutely.
And that was for two piano tuned differently. And I was actually very proud of the project because it was a good homage for me. I studied with Georg Friedrich Haas, so I really admire his work. And one of his massive works is for two pianos.
Absolutely, you are saying about my next question here, because I have very largely written Georg Friedrich Haas. So tell us about this very big event and how he wrote Facebook comment after.
Oh, this going to Basel was again because of Radulescu. And I think I consider myself nowadays more close to spectral music, if you will. But I didn't know any of these things. I didn't know Grise, for instance, which now in the music circles is synonymous to spectral music. But I didn't know his music. I only knew Radulescu. And so a friend of mine was a German composer. He was studying with me in Stockholm. He knew Haas music, and then he sent me some of his pieces to listen. I said, if you like Radulescu, maybe he is the closest person that could think of sound the way you're interested. And then I listened. It was amazing. And then I wrote him emails, sent some of the pieces, and he said, yes, you have to come study with me in Basel. And that led to, I would say, the best professional years of my life. Just 2.5 years that I was in Basel. We had incredible school, and it was amazing. Not entirely or exclusively because of the lessons with Haas, but because of the people that were there because of Haas.
It's famous for contemporary place, this Basel.
Very famous for contemporary music and very famous for old music.
Absolutely.
We have Scola Cantorum.
There's even Estonian people, I think, studying and working there also. That's why I know.
I think I may have worked with one singer even I don't remember.
Maybe Evan.
Yeah, I think so, probably. But we had always good collaboration with Scola Cantorum as well. So contemporary music and old music really
They very often say that they are somehow understand each other better than romantic, let's say, artists.
Romantic music. I mean, I love romantic music too, but Basel School, we didn't have orchestra. We had very, very rarely we had orchestra project which was not conducted. So the orchestra was playing. It was just, this place was like, what's the Harry Potter school? Hogwarts? It was like Hogwarts of contemporary music, really. Like people with incredible musicians would chase you that you have to write a piece for me. I never felt in my life. But anyway, so Haas was maybe a magnet for all of these things. And he had this strong presence.
Just when going to the future, you should be in magnet in here then.
Well, I wish.
Would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the Yeah, well, I would like to dream.
Because I like this idea very much that Tallinn or Estonia or Baltics or this northern part, okay, let's say Estonia, which is and will be kind of the center of the new music.
I mean, I had
like
that
to think
vision,
big.
to be honest, and one of the reasons I came here was because of that.
Because we have many composers right now.
You have-
People are
I mean,
interested in new music.
The most famous brand of Estonia is Arvo Part. I mean, people never heard Estonia, but everybody knows. In Iran, everybody knows Arvo Part, for example. But nobody had heard the name of Estonia if it wasn't for Arvo Part. So this is a special country. And it is special because, for example, in case of me, no matter what I do in my country, there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of other people who have done that or who are better, or, it wouldn't matter at all what I do there. But here, every single human being is an asset. And this is, I always say this, but maybe Estonians don't quite get it because that's the state of how things are for you. But it's so exciting.
I'm very happy to say that because I also feel that here we are, somehow every person matters.
Yeah, every
I feel
person
somehow in
could
my
change
life.
a country. This is just unthinkable anywhere else. So this is why, a fresh country, a young project, let's build a great country. That's like you're living in a dream. It's crazy. But I have to finish about house that you said.
Yes.
Because, I really love his music. We also were fighting a lot when I was a student.
Perfect, that's a good relationship.
Yeah, I have some anecdotes about that, but anyway. But he was here once in 2016 or 17 in Affect Festival, so I was a little bit calling him and trying to convince him that you must come to Estonia, and it was really good.
And how did he like then?
He loved it.
Perfect.
He absolutely loved it. He was telling me, you have to make me come back again. I really loved it.
And you kind of did this year, just because of the
but
COVID.
It couldn't happen, yes. But it was great because, this piece that we performed in vain was my dream, really, because it's so powerful. And nothing like that had ever been produced, to my understanding. And of course, I knew the piece, I had listened to it, I even participated in some production before, in a way. But still, when we were performing it, when I was conducting on the stage, I was completely blown away. Some parts of the piece are in total darkness, for instance. And we always try to rehearse it because it's difficult. You cannot really reproduce this until you do it. We did all we could, but only on the concert it happened that it was absolute darkness.
I think these pieces are like this. Only on the concert moment it can really be alive.
It was really magical. I cannot put it into words. It was
and how our audience accepted it?
I think audience loved it too. I think whatever I heard was positive. But this is really great piece. And I don't know. Yeah, we had some of your people were in the audience. But anyway, so that was a dream project. I never thought, when I started the ensemble, I always imagined, okay, in maybe 20 years we would be able, but we did it in 8 years.
Perfect.
It was really a dream come true. And so I found the perfect opportunity to write a homage to Haas, because this festival was, this year was pretty much about his kind of music. Even though the past editions were more in the Radulescu way of writing. Even the title Sun Plasma is title of Radulescu. That's how he described his music. So this year I dared to put one step a little bit newer, maybe further with us. So I'm very pleased about it.
Absolutely. And you have some plans for next festivals?
We have some amazing plans.
Can you tell us about them a bit? Or you wanted to make it a secret?
No, okay, I can tell, because one of the projects just today got the green light, and that is we have a group of composers write new pieces for our ensemble, and a special harmonium which is in 6-tone tuning. And that harmonium was built for Alois Haba, who is the Czech legendary composer. And the instrument is in the Czech Contemporary Museum. So we are going to use that instrument with our ensemble, and that's fascinating. And
Very nice.
Probably one of the composers will be Haas as well. But
Perfect.
I cannot confirm it yet.
Let's hope that he can come here. But what is the contact about Tallinn and Berlin in this festival?
That's a good question.
Next one should be Tallinn, Berlin, New York, London, Moscow.
Well, actually, I had this idea a little bit because first of all, Berlin is kind of the center of the world for contemporary music.
Very nice place.
So
I like it also.
I love the place, and the spirit of Berlin is great. And if you want to present something, I mean, Tallinn has its own vibe, but if you want to matter in a global audience, you have to either go to Berlin or New York, for instance. But Berlin for sure. And then I had this idea that if you know, there is this Israeli conductor, Ilan Volkov, who used to make this kind of similar, not similar festival, but he used to make a contemporary music festival which was like this, a satellite of different events, different countries. So there was like a Tectonics Glasgow, there was in Japan, there was like in Israel. So I had this idea that we would have a satellite of different, different festivals with the mothership be in Tallinn, for instance. But so far, only Berlin and Tallinn, and I have tried to keep the Berlin one intact because that's what has gained the most attention, or, attracted the most attention to our
Absolutely.
work.
But would it be, I don't know, possible to make it also in Iran? Tallinn, Berlin, Iran? Or you don't think that's the place for sound plasma?
No, I mean, Iran is weird. There's a place for everything. And people absolutely adore everything that you bring there because they're just thirsty. I always
Good to know.
First time that I listened contemporary music was I was there in a vacation. And then I saw somebody on Facebook wrote that, tomorrow Klaus Lang and Peter Ablinger and some really famous composers are performing, not even advertisement, just somebody wrote on Facebook. And I went and it was packed by people, and the music was quite challenging to listen, even like for European concert goers. They're very, very soft, very long, very hardcore contemporary
And
music.
how the audience accepted it?
Absolutely adored it. I mean, nobody was making a pick. I mean, they were saying after the concert that we didn't understand, but it was so interesting. Never experienced anything like this. It was the first time that I met this giants that I always wanted to meet. For instance, Klaus Lang was also first year in our festival. I met them in Iran, just like that. Crazy.
Very nice.
But having the festival in Iran, I have not great experiences organizing things in Iran because it's a different world, and you have
you will take your Estonian colleagues and Berlin colleagues, and it will work out.
No, but some of my Estonian colleagues have performed in Iran already. Like I think Ensemble Resonabilis have been there, and some choir also. But I don't dare to organize. That's different. Because things are crazy. I have had one premiere in my life in Iran. It was for German flutist, and I didn't have any contact with Iran. I was writing a piece for this German flutist, and he told me, I'm invited to perform in Iran. Do you want me to premiere your piece there? I said, hell yeah, please. So I went there. It was amazing because first time my parents could listen to my music. But until 5 minutes before concert, I mean, until the day of concert, we didn't even know where is the concert going to. And until 5 minutes, everything was just unclear. Are we going to play? Who is going to do this? Somehow in really last minute, everything worked out. But that's too much stress for me to organize.
This one thing reminded me a story how one Russian very famous pianist, Maria Yudina, once came to Tallinn and played Hindemith sonatas. And the audience it was very new music for them, and they were also a bit, not shocked, but lost. And then Maria Yudina watched their faces and told after a very long concert that I see that you probably didn't get this music. I shall play it again. So in Iranian audience, there was nothing like that. And also Sound Plasma audience in Tallinn, there was nothing like that.
Well, we had this French ensemble, Litiner. They played the last piece twice, but only because people really loved it. So they called them 4 times on stage. So they played the entire piece twice. But that was magical again. It was a really good performance.
Absolutely. So about the final question, what are your own personal plans, like artistic plans for this season?
For the season?
Or even longer?
My own plan in life is to get rich.
Good, yes. We already are.
I'm in the wrong profession for that. I don't know, man.
I like this answer. This is the best answer ever.
That's a tough question, my plan. I mean, to be honest, I'm just happy to have anything to do, which is another reason I started a festival like Ensemble or conducting, because then if I don't do it, nobody does it, and nobody asks me to do it sometimes. I mean, I've been lucky to write some good pieces. By good pieces, I mean for good people. But I'm happy just to think for the next project. And at the moment, I have a couple of pieces that I need to write, which I have no idea how they are going to come. But
okay, but for who? And when? And where can we listen to them? Your next pieces.
Lots of questions.
We want to listen to your music. We hear you speak, but we want to listen to your music.
I mean, I have a website and SoundCloud and things, but live, well, let me see. That's a tough question.
Yes, because also
right
now times are
blank.
tricky. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to write for our own ensemble with this 6-tone harmonium.
Okay.
Unashamedly. Actually, I was very ashamed to write for my own ensemble, and I hated conducting my music until I had a performance with a famous conductor, and I just was thinking, oh my God, I wish I was doing it because I know exactly what to say to make it. And also I realized that our musicians are really familiar with what I'm writing, so it would be stupid not to do it. So I'm writing for that 6-tone harmonium, for instance.
What will going to be from?
We will do it in Sound Plasma Tallinn next year.
Okay.
I think November. I don't remember. 12 are from November is next year, something like that. Then 2022, I will write for the Estonian choir, Philharmonic choir, I guess. So that's exciting.
Very exciting.
Oh, I'm writing one piece for 5 guitars. Also, I think I'm trying to make it happen in Tallinn as well. To bring the ensemble. That's also exciting. So I have like three or 4 pieces.
So we have a lot of time. So I would like to have a piano sonata. Can you do it?
Are you paying me?
Yes, you want it to be rich.
Then
Spotlight will pay you. Thank you, Arash Yazdani. It was very nice to talk to you. And we shall be waiting for your music and next Sound Plasma in Tallinn, Berlin, Moscow, London, wherever.
Not Moscow. London is good.
Very good.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you also very much. So, thank you also, and see you again. Subscribe and do all those things that you need to do. We are very happy about it. Subscribe, right? Subscribe. Bye-bye.
Ciao.